Alright. I just want to get a couple things out of the way. Just want to talk about just a few things about that Seattle game, which I believe if there was a couple things that went our way, it would have been a lot different. Obviously that Wentz fumble, which could have went our way, but it didn't. And then, I got the Aguilar to the left, which he overthrew, which is ridiculous. Then he got the Aguilar to the left, which he underthrows him. He still caught it, but he underthrows him. And then that could have been a good gain. And I believe that screen to Clement, which, Wentz was getting hella rushed. So, can't fault him for that. It just wasn't able to get to him. And then I believe that if we would have went for it on fourth down, I believe we were at like the 40 or something like that before halftime. I believe it could have been a lot different. I believe we ended up punting. Well, we were at the 40. We were around the 50 or so, but we ended up punting. I believe we should have went for it, at least try to get a field goal. And then that lateral pass, which, in my opinion, I don't know. It could have went both ways. So I don't know. I don't want to. Russell Wilson, it is what it is. We faced a good QB. I believe our defense did good. He just is very good at what he does. And give props to him, obviously. Compared to who we faced. We faced a Cam Newton, but in my opinion, I don't think Cam Newton's very good. He's overhyped. So I don't, as an Eagles fan, I'm not anywhere upset. We're 10-2, so, it is what it is. I believe Wentz will bounce back, and I believe we'll have a good game. So I think we'll bounce back. This is something we can learn from, something we can, try to be able to contain multiple quarterbacks better. Because that was the weakness of the defense, was how he can escape the pocket so easily. So, in conclusion, don't get upset. It's a loss. It's whatever. I was not making excuses in my video, that post-game video. I was just saying like it is. That's what happened. We killed ourselves in that game more than Seattle killed us. Russell Wilson did good, but in my opinion, we shot ourselves in the foot more than Seattle shot ourselves. Or more than Seattle shot us, we shot ourselves more. So, a couple things that went our way would have been a lot different, and they didn't. So, Seattle's a good team. It is what it is. Playoff experience, etc., and we don't have none of that. So now we get to hear all these naysayers and say, oh, well, we haven't beat nobody and all this crap, and we'll continue with the doubters, Now they have something to say about the Eagles. Oh, they didn't beat a good team, so they're not as good. So, I just want to talk about, these 3, 4, 5, these 7 teams that I have down that I want to predict the records and predict what's going to happen down the stretch and see everybody else's opinion on this too. Like I said, it's just my opinion. So, I want to start out with the NFC. I want to start out with obviously the Eagles. I believe so we face the Rams next week. 3 o'clock game, and I believe we get that win because we're Jared Goff, and I think McVay is in his ear the whole time, and I believe if we can rattle him with our fans there at their stadium, I believe that it'll I believe we can get the W. I'll talk about that in a different video, but I believe that's a win. I believe Wentz will bounce back to that game also. Anyways, we have the Rams, the Giants, the Raiders, the Cowboys. I believe for the Giants, we get a win. they're trash. I believe the Raiders, they're up and down. I believe that's a win. Then the Cowboys, they're also fucking trash, and that's a win for us. The way things are looking, I don't think we're gonna sit anybody for that Cowboys game. I believe we're gonna start everybody, our starters. Keep wins in the game. Try to get that extra win. So I was finishing the season 14-2. So the next I want to talk about my second team that I think is in competition with us, or at least the top three. My second ranked team, basically in the NFL. Well, no, that's a lie. In the NFC. So it's split really between the Vikings and the Saints. It's kind of a hard one. I want to say, okay, I want to say the Saints over the Vikings, because, you know, they have Drew Brees, and I love Drew Brees, it's awesome. Plus, they have Kamara, it's awesome. If you haven't watched him play, watch him play, he's really awesome. And then, obviously, they have Ingram, too, which they've had for a while. That's a good 1-2 punch. And, yeah, so I'm liking the Saints over the Vikings, although I like the Saints, or the Vikings. I'll talk about the Vikings in just a second. So, the Saints are 9-3, and they have the Falcons next week, and then they have the Jets, the Falcons again, and the Bucks. I believe the Falcons are kind of like the Raiders. They're up and down. They're having that Super Bowl hangover, obviously. So I believe the Falcons get a W, or Saints get a W against the Falcons. They beat the Jets. I believe they beat the Falcons the second time around, and then the Bucks is another win. So I have them finishing the season 13-3. So that's that. Now the Vikings, I want to talk about. I'm liking Case Keenum. I know a lot of you are like, Case Keenum, like, really? Yeah, really. I mean, if you've watched him play, he reminds me. I know he's been in the league for, I'm not ever sure how long, but he's been in the league for a minute, at least a few years. I'm not really sure. But Case Keenum is looking really good. Pretty good. He reminds me of Carson Wentz in his rookie year, where you can watch a QB and you know he looks decent. But I just don't know down the stretch. I don't know enough about Case Keenum, but I like him as of right now. Anyways, so they're 10-2. They have the Panthers, the Bengals, the Packers, and Bears. I believe they get a win against the Panthers. Cam Newton's overhyped. They're really up and down all the time. So, their win against the Panthers, they're going to beat the Bengals. And then, I believe Aaron Rodgers comes back for the Packers game. I think the Vikings still take that game. And then the Bears, they get a win. So, I have them finishing the season 14-2. My next, I would have to say either talk about the NFC here. So either it's Seattle or the Rams. And I'm going to have to take Seattle over the Rams. Seattle is obviously, I shouldn't have to explain why I should take Seattle over the Rams. Seattle 8-4. They have an easy 4 games left. Well, somewhat. They face the Jaguars, the Rams, the Cowboys, and the Cardinals. Now, the Jags, I believe they get a W. They get a win against them. Blake Bortles, I never liked him. I believe they need to get them a new QB. But their defense is good. I'm not hating, but they're going to beat the Jaguars. The Rams, I believe they beat the Rams. They're going to beat the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. And then they're going to beat Cardinals. So I have the Seahawks finishing 12-4. I just, after seeing what Seattle did to my Eagles, I believe, you know, they're coming down the stretch, so they're getting to how they're supposed to be. And then we'll talk about the Rams. Jared Goff, you know, obviously he was drafted over Wentz, but I always liked Wentz anyways. Goff is not my type of quarterback. He's real tiny. I know Drew Brees is small too, but Jared Goff is, gosh, just seeing him from last year was just so bad. You know, it was just terrible. Really bad, actually. So, okay, so although I have Todd Gurley and what the heck's his name? Oh, fucking A, man. Sammy Watson? What's it, Sammy from the Bills? Sammy Watson? Something like that. Anyways, they have him at wide receiver. Yeah, Sammy Watkins. They have him at wide receiver. They have Gurley at running back. And defensive line is pretty good. But anyways, I believe Rams are 9-3 right now. I believe they lose against the Eagles. They lose against Seattle. They win against the Titans, and they win against the 49ers. So I have them finishing 11-5. And so now I'm going to talk about the AFC. AFC really only got two teams, which obviously you guys know, the Patriots and the Steelers. So obviously I'll talk about the Patriots first. There's nothing I can really say about the Patriots. It is what it is. They have Tom Brady. They're 10-2. They have the Dolphins, Steelers, Bills, and the Jets. I believe they beat the Dolphins. They beat the Steelers. Steelers are up and down for me. I never bought into Steelers. I don't know. They're just too shaky for me. So I believe they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Steelers, they beat the Bills and the Jets. I have them finishing the season 14-2. And now the Steelers, they have Roethlisberger, like I said. They're up and down for me. Never see them as a threat. I mean, they're good, but they're not the Patriots. So so their next 4 games, remaining 4 games, I have Ravens, Patriots, Texans, and the Browns. So the Ravens, I believe they get that win. Patriots, they get a loss. Texans, they get a win. The Browns, they get a win. So they're going to finish 13-3 in my opinion. Now, so looking at my records, I believe that at my predictions, the Eagles are going to win out the next games. The Vikings are going to win out. The Saints are going to win out. And the Seahawks are going to win the rest of the games. Patriots are going to win out. And those are the teams that I have winning their next 4 games. Now, home field advantage, I believe that the Vikings have what they call it, a strength of schedule. I'm not sure what the term is for when it comes to the playoffs, but the Vikings, I believe right now, are going to have home field advantage. If they win out and they beat their next 4 opponents, they will finish 14-2, and so will we. And yeah, now that I think about it, the Patriots, I believe the Vikings have strength of schedule over the Patriots. Not 100% on that, but anyways, it would go through the Vikings, I believe, home field advantage. But I believe we need that home field advantage, which we will, because, you know, I believe in the team. So there's really nothing else to really say. I mean, we'll see what happens in the next 4 games. You know, it's the NFL. You don't know what can happen. Anything can happen. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video. It's 15 minutes now. And just final thoughts on that Seattle game. I had a hangover for like 2 days over that shit. So, yep. So Wentz will bounce back. The team will bounce back. They need to stop dancing and get to work. And we'll see what happens in this next game against the Rams. And I believe it's a win. If we get a loss, I believe that we'll face the Giants, the Raiders, the Cowboys. So we could finish 13-3, which I'm still not complaining about. But when it comes to all these down to these 7 teams, we need to be 14-2. So it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and head on out of here. And those are just kind of my thoughts on the game and the rest of the season. And yeah, so I'm gonna be watching the Vikings and for sure the Saints in Seattle, and probably the Patriots. I don't really care about the Rams. I'm just not buying into them yet. I'm buying into the Vikings. Case Keenum's a beast. Alright. I'm gonna ramble on forever if I keep talking, but I'm gonna go ahead and head on out of here. And I'll see you guys. I'll do a little pregame, a little preview for the Vikings, or fucking the Rams. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and deuce on out of here. And peace.